Namaste, my name is Jyoti Dhaya and welcome to Learning with JD. Hello everybody, to all the aspirants, a warm welcome to yet another session where we are going to talk about our examination preparation. So we know, as in the last previous videos we started talking about the process groups. We've already spoken about two key process groups, that is initiating and planning. Today we are going to start our work. Yes, we are going to start the executing of our project. So executing process group is the third process group as a part of the Pmbok guide. What are we going to cover today? We are going to cover and we're going to see what are the key activities that needs to be performed in the executing process group. Now please understand that till here what as you as a project manager has already achieved and done. First, the project charter was created. Who created the project charter? The sponsor. And hence you got a job. Project is assigned to a project manager. It has been authorized. As a project manager, what do? You identify the stakeholders. These are the two key processes of a part of the initiating process group. Then comes the planning process group. What did you do in planning? You identified all the key knowledge areas in which you need to plan. You planned all the processes which defines how the work will be done. And now that time has come where the work is to be begun. And all that you have written in the project management plan and the project document is now going to be executed. How you will be collecting your information, how you will be managing your stakeholder. Now is the time where you actually have to manage them. Here is the time where you actually have to communicate, manage your risk, respond to your risk. Yeah, let's see all of them in detail. So the executing process group consists of those processes performed to complete the work defined in the project management plan to satisfy the project requirement. Whatever you have mentioned in the project management plan, you remember what the project management plan was that we discussed in the last session, that spoke about all the subsidiary management plans to be combined together and creating a project management plan. Now you have created how scope will be defined, and here is where the scope work has to begin. The work has to actually begin. To complete what? To complete the project requirement, to satisfy the project requirement, which is defined where? In the project management plan. Got that? All right. This process group, as a group, executing as a whole group, involves coordinating resources, managing stakeholder engagement. Yeah, we saw about stakeholder in both the previous process groups. Identifying the stakeholder at the right time is very important. Involving them at every stage is very important. And integrating and performing the activities of the project in accordance with the project management plan. Here, whatever you had planned that a flyover is to be built, here the actual work begins. And how the work will be done is mentioned in the project management plan. All the activities is to be done in accordance of the project management plan. Got that? Moving on. The key benefit of this process group is that the work needed to meet the project requirement and the objective is performed according to the plan. Nothing has to go beyond the plan. Whatever you as a project manager has written in the planning process group, all the key knowledge areas, all those 10 key knowledge areas where you've mentioned how you are going to plan each knowledge area, that is exactly how the work needs to be done here. All your project requirement and the objectives is performed according to the plan. The plan is the key here. There are 10 processes for executing process group. Let us see what they are. Of course, project integration management. There are two processes under project integration. What is project integration management? It is integrating everything together, getting all the work that is being done together. Direct and manage project work. It gets all the work which is done for your schedule, your cost, your scope, your quality, your risk, communication, all the work that you do, you get at the integration stage and combine. That is a part of the direct and manage project work. And manage project knowledge. Everything that is related to that particular project comes as a part of the project knowledge group. Then comes project quality. You manage your quality. Very important. You have to manage what quality standards are all about. How does your quality meet the expectation of the requirements of the stakeholder? All that is a part of your managed quality. So while your work is happening in the integration phase, which is direct and managed project work, you along with the work have to ensure that the quality is met. Do you want to manage the quality after the work is done? No. If you are creating table of a particular width and size and weight balancing, there is no point checking that quality after the table is created. You have to do it there and there itself while the execution is going on. And hence, this process of managed quality is not placed under monitoring and controlling. Monitoring and controlling is something that the work is done, then you monitor and then you control. Executing is that the work is going on and you manage it. So you manage your quality at the time when the work is happening itself. Next comes the project resource management. Now again, like quality, you will not be managing your resources after the work is done. You have to acquire resources at the time of execution. Why do you need resources at the time of execution? Who's going to do your job? Execution is at the time of working, right? Hence you need your resources. Understand, this is not only human resources. These are all your physical resources also. Your material, your raw material, your infrastructure, your warehouse, everything is a part of your acquiring resources. Then you develop your team. You have your human resources, you need to help them develop. You need to manage your team. All this is a part of your executing process group. Then comes your communication. Again, while the work is happening, you have to manage communication. Project manager continuously communicates with the stakeholder, with the project team, with other project managers, with the PMO, with the portfolio manager. That is the job of a project manager, to always communicate. So managed communication is a key part of your execution process. While the work is going on, as a project manager, it is your work to communicate. Yeah. Then comes risk management. Implement risk responses. You remember we spoke about risk responses, your plan risk responses in the planning process group. Whatever you have planned at that point of time, if the risk occurs, this is the response that will be taken. If the cost of a dollar goes up or down, if the cost of raw material goes up and down, this is the response that you will manage. Here is the time where you implement your risk responses. Whatever risk you had thought of, you had planned of, here is the time where you actually implement them at the time of execution. Then comes your procurement. You conduct procurement. At the time of executing of the project, there will be a lot of involvements of the third parties. This is the time where you actually conduct your procurement, which means you coordinate with them, you understand what their requirement is, you explain them what your requirement is, and ensure that the procurement is done as per the plan during the execution phase itself. And the last one is the project stakeholder management. You have to manage your stakeholder engagement. This will be a very critical part. As many other processes, you need to manage your stakeholder throughout. You need to plan as to how you are going to manage your stakeholder, and then you need to actually manage them. Let's see what is the understanding of all the processes. As we've told you before also, In this session, we are going to do and make you understand the, at a very high level as to what the process is all about. We will talk about all the processes in quite detail when we study knowledge area wise, right? But right now, since we are studying process group wise, because that's how you will do your project, it's important for you to understand process group wise. So because we are studying today process group wise, we will be doing at a very high level. Okay, let's start with direct and manage project work. Leading and performing the work defined in the project management plan and implementing approved changes to achieve the project's objective. There are two key parts that happens during the direct and manage project work. One, whatever work defined is mentioned in the project management plan. Now, where does the project management plan come from? Planning process group, right? Whatever we did in the last session. Planning process group will give you the project management plan that you need to implement. And the second important part is the part that I always keep on saying, that when the planning is over and your execution begins, if there's any change in the project which is happening at the execution phase, that will have to go through the change control board. If the change control board approves it, then that also has to be implemented to meet the project's objective. So two key things that the direct and managed project work process does is leading and performing the work defined in the project management plan, that is the one which project manager did it at the time of planning, and implementing the approved changes that the change control board would have done to achieve the project's objective. Got that? All right. The second one is manage project knowledge. Using existing knowledge and creating new knowledge to achieve the project's objective and contribute to organization learning. This process helps you to use the existing knowledge and creating new knowledge to achieve the project's objective. There could be something which an old project is already done and has been quite successful. You will use that knowledge. There will be something that you have created and you want other project managers to use it. So you are creating that new knowledge, and this both is going to help to achieve the project's objective. The next one being quality, the managed quality process. Translating the quality management plan, what we discussed in the planning process group, into executable quality activities that incorporate the organization's quality policies into the project. Whatever the organization has planned for the quality will be a part of your quality management plan, and you are going to translate that from the quality management plan to a more quality activities. All right, it has to be in lines with the organization quality policies. Then the resources. Three processes for your resources. You acquire the resources, obtaining team members, facilities, equipments, materials, the supplies and other resources necessary to complete the project work. You need to acquire all of them. You need to obtain all of them. Develop team. Improving the competencies, the team member interaction and overall team environments to enhance the project performance. Manage team. Tracking team member performance, providing feedback, resolving issues and managing team changes to optimize project performance. All these are a part of your managed team. You not only develop your team, but you also resolve their conflicts. You also resolve their managing team changes, right? If there is a change often that is happening in the team member may be a little disappointed because of that. So you will be managing all those parts. That comes under the managed team. Then comes the communication. As we said, communication has to happen during the execution process phase. It doesn't happen that after the execution is done, then when you are under monitoring, you will only be doing communication then. No, you will be doing when the project is already happening. So ensuring timely and appropriate collection, you first need to collect all the information. Creation, which means you will create some report, some analysis. You will distribute, which means you will share to the person whose name is mentioned in the communication management plan. You will store the information for your You will retrieve it, the management, monitoring, and ultimate disposal of the project information. All this is a part of a project management plan, which is manage communication. Yeah. Now, risk. Implement the risk responses. Whatever risk responses you had agreed upon at the time of planning, now is the time when you need to implement that. At the time when you identified the risk, we saw there was a process that mentioned plan risk responses. Plan risk responses helps you mention as to if this risk occurs, what is it that as an organization or as a project manager I will do. If you are doing that, now is the time, at the time of executing, that you need to implement the agreed upon risk response. Yeah. Then comes the procurement. You need to conduct your procurement, which means you need to obtain the seller responses, selecting a seller and awarding a contract. All this is a part of executing. Stakeholders, communicating and working with the stakeholders to meet their needs and expectation. You are going to read this word throughout the project. The needs and the expectation of the project manager, the needs and the expectation of the project stakeholder is the key. The stakeholder is the one who's going to influence your project the most, right? So address issues and foster the appropriate stakeholder involvement. All these are a part of your manage stakeholder process, and that comes under executing process group. Does not happen after the project is over. It happens at the time when the project is happening, is the time when the project is running. Now let's see what have we seen in today's session of executing. So what do you mean by executing? You do these processes as you carry out your project tasks. You are doing all your project tasks. This is the delivery part of the project management. The first part was initiating, where you were just starting the project. The second part was planning, where you were planning how you will do the project. Now is the delivery part of the project, where you are actually doing the work, which is mentioned in the project management plan and the project document, where the main activity happens and you create the product. Alright, so remember, it is the delivery part of the project management where the main activity happens and you create the product. Yeah. Alright, so that's about the executing process group. So guys, that is it from my end for today's session, and we've covered the 3 key process groups starting from initiating, planning, and today's session we completed our executing process group also. Remember, it is a flow. Remember, it is a framework. As a project manager, you need to remember all the process groups thoroughly. In the next session, we are going to talk about the monitoring and controlling process group. Meanwhile, like, share and comment on the video that I keep on uploading. If you have any doubt, please put in a comment and I'll certainly reply back to you. Also do subscribe to my channel and to never miss a notification of the videos that I keep on uploading. So till then, keep studying, keep connecting, and all the best.